this is part two or day two of uh like getting to my first payout. But anyways, so I'm gonna go over my trade recap, update on my Top Step account, and then the strategy that I use, because some guy asked me. But anyways, okay, so let's start over here. Okay, so as you can see, we had another crazy good trade. So yeah, ended up yesterday with 51,200, today with 52,739. And actually, I had to cut my profits short because I didn't want my consistency target to be crazy. Like I could have passed today, but I would have had to hit like a much bigger trade than I need to tomorrow in order to meet my consistency target. So let's go over the trade today. So actually, as you can see, okay, let's start from the top. So on the daily time frame, gosh, this looks messy. Let's not do that. Okay, so starting on the daily time frame. So coming to the day, we were obviously um very bearish. Um, However, we did hit this low right here, and there was a very strong pullback from that. So I had, as you can see earlier, I had this daily fair value gap marked out as a possible source, or as a possible point we can retrace up to if we are bullish on the day. So, but that's not it of our daily buys. So back down to the 4 hour. As you can see, we are very bullish on the 4 hour. We inverse this fair value gap, we inverse this fair value gap. So yeah, that was a lot of bullish confluence, and I had my TP set on 1 hour highs that I thought were probably going to be taken out. So coming into the 1 hour. So actually today I waited until the 6 to 7 o'clock close, so the 4 hour candle close, because a couple things. I wanted extra confirmation on the 15 minute that we were going bullish. Uh, so yeah, I just wanted extra confirmation that we're going bullish because obviously we're moving against the daily time frame. So yeah. Okay, so as you can see on the 15 minute, I did see this 6:30 candle, obviously inverse this fair value gap, and yeah. So usually that's enough confidence for me, but because the daily was bearish, I wanted to see the hourly close and inverse this. So I waited another 15 minutes, and actually it did hit my first TP, which was this. So that was also the reason why I waited for that hourly close, because this candle, which is also the hourly candle, could have just hit that, take profit, and push down, and we could have had a bearish day. So I waited for that 15-minute candle to close, which also closed the 4 hour candle and the 1 hour candle, and also on the hourly candle we did eventually end up inversing this gap, which was for me enough enough confluence to say we're going bullish. So now down to the 1 minute. So at this point I'm like, okay, we are bullish. Okay, so on the 1 minute, 9. Okay, so literally this candle, this big candle, as you can see, was my entry. I did end up like entering literally like 2 seconds late, and price literally flew down all the way to where you can see this, so like right there. So I did end up being able to risk less, which I was already planning on doing. So I entered with, I think, like a 400 $350 stop loss, uh intentionally, but I got to lower it to like a, I think like a $250 stop loss, which is even better, and I got a better position. So I was like, okay, that's great. um but yeah, so I did end up playing or taking full take profits at, I think, yeah, I'll show the executions now. But so my executions were on, and I'll recap this trade in a second. But my exit, oh, was actually at that TP, or well, like near it. But anyways, so yeah, as you can see, my entry was on this handle right here. My exit here. It's this one. But yeah, um, so I technically had three TPs. So it's these three lines above this blue line. So TP1, TP2, TP3, and it does say 80, which for me is like taking 80% of my position out, but I ended up taking 100% out just because I'm on an eval and I don't want to, you know, get have to make so much more profit because of that consistency rule. But anyways, so yeah, so it's very plain. Uh, Once I hit this, I set my stop loss to break even, and then let it hit this profit. Okay, and I'll go over my TPs really quickly. So this first TP was, I think, like a 15-minute maybe. Yeah, so the end of this 15-minute, um, but okay, this was just like an area for me to like watch out for. I don't really care for it. But okay, so starting on this break even one, so I don't want to take out any money here because I've like this is very low probability that price will reverse, but just in case it does, I set it here to make my trade go break even, so I'm no longer risking the trade. And this our next hourly high was just my next TP. So very plain, very easy. And then so as you can see, the price kind of did ending up retracing a little bit after hitting this break even point, but not enough to like take me out or anything. So yeah, little clean, very, like one of my best trades ever, 5.62 RR. But yeah, okay, so let's go over the second trade, or the original trade. So my original trade was gonna be again after this candle, um, which was the 45-minute candle. But as I explained earlier, I was like, um, or I did ended up getting out like somewhere right there for like $30 worth of profit. But I wanted to enter actually down here, technically on the end of this candle with my stops here. But price literally in the first like couple seconds end up going all the way high. I was like, nah. I'm like, this is, look, 51 pips versus not even 20 pips. So I was like, it's not worth it. This is such bad RR. So I got out and I was like, let me wait for further confirmation or like another way for me to enter. So it hit this, my first original take profit, and I was like, okay, maybe price will reverse and I can get a sell, or if it gives me confirmation that's going higher, I can find another entry. And the latter is what happened. So I was able to get a good entry after confirming that it's, gonna go higher after hitting my first TP for the day, by giving me that 1 hour inverse and that 15-minute inverse. So yeah, very clean day. Currently, my progress on my on this, whatever you want to call it, is okay. I'm almost done funding this with the eval phase or combine. Yeah, so 200, like three. Actually, no, I calculated. Okay, no, I didn't. Uh, I need like 100, $220 plus 78, so like $300 have to go. This it came out to like 0.68 RR if I'm risking 1%. So hopefully I hit that tomorrow. But yeah, okay. So that's the trade recap for the day. But okay, let me go over my strategy, which I play out every single. It's the same exact thing every single day. So, um, so the first thing I do, when I hop on the charts, let's use Trading View because that's a little easier. Um, I don't even have Trading View open. Trading View. Okay. It doesn't really matter what you use. Okay. I'm gonna clear. Actually, I'm gonna make a new layout. Test.
Well, Andrew, Loki cracked at parallel parking.
Yeah,
Yeah, are you good at it?
I'm pretty solid.
Dude, I like today I got into a spot and there was this much on either side. And I did it in one go.
You know what my best parallel parking job was? The very first one I ever did.
Really?
Weirdly, like beginners, like I was with my driving instructor. He's like, "We're gonna parallel park." He explained it to me and then told me to just try it. Did it
Okay, going over my strategy. So every day I start off on the daily. I do like top down analysis or whatever you guys want to call it. So I first identify the trend on the daily, and that's usually used from relatively, and I use that term very loosely. A candle movement. So as you can see, um, we're overall bearish, like very very large. Recently there was a little spike up, but recently we've been bearish, so that's what I'm playing. So I'm like, okay, daily's bearish, as simple as that. In the back of my mind, the 4 hour, and I'm analyzing this chart as if market is gonna open right now. So as you can see on the 4 hour chart, yes, we're overall bearish, but recently we've been bullish. So that's what I use to confirm my daily bias. So in the 4 hour we've been bullish. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. The daily is bearish, the 4 hour is bearish. Okay, now down to the 1 hour. 1 hour similarly. We've recently been bullish. So, and also, if you wanna like ask, oh, how do I get that? I usually use just like just general trends. So we're making higher highs. Well, this is a lower high, but higher high, higher low, lower high, but higher low, higher high. So just higher highs, just like normal candlestick stuff. And I also like to use inverse fair value gaps. So once I see a fair value gap like this get inversed, I'm like, okay, this is very big confluence saying that we are bullish, at least for the time being. So I'm like, okay. I usually focus on the 1 hour and the 4 hour to find my bias, but I will still mark out important uh, price points on the daily, like this fair value gap on the daily. Like we could just be playing a retracement into this daily fair value gap, and even though we're bullish, maybe we could have a bearish day. Again, I'm not very married to my bias, but it's just what I see coming into the market. So once I see this, I usually like to mark out possible take profit points, whether we're going bearish or bullish. So like if we're bullish, then probably like that's probably going to be a first TP, and then maybe something like this or something like this. Maybe that's like TP2. Okay. If we're bearish from here, then this is probably one take profit, and maybe this might be a take profit because that's the start of this fair value gap. Just very general. Then again, I do have a bias, high time frame bias coming into the market, as you can see from the daily 4 hour, 1 hour, but I like to get confirmation before acting on those biases. So, like for example, on the 15 minute, I see this, and obviously when market opens, there's a rush of orders, there's a rush of liquidity, there's more movement than pre-market or when the markets are closed. So I expect that. So I'm looking at this, and most of the time I'm waiting for confirmation. So in this case, a confirmation would be, if we're bearish, then I want price to, or on the 15 minute. So again, context is very important, since if we're bearish, we're playing into the 4 hour. Look, actually, wait, sorry, we're playing into the daily time frame, which is a lot bigger than our 15 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute. So I'm like, I recognize that. That means we're playing against the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So that means, to me personally, I need a lot of confluence and confirmation saying we are going bearish. So if I wanted to take a bearish move, or like want a bearish bias, then I wanted to see the 15 minute at the very least inverse this fair value gap. Preferably, I'd like to see something on the 1 hour confirming that we are going bearish, but that's at the very minimum. From here, if I wanted to see bullish, if I wanted to uh, have a bullish bias, then usually, since we are playing with the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, I'd like to maybe see this fair value gap get inversed. So yeah, so if price ended up inversing this, then I'd be okay going down to the 1 minute and then finding my entry, which is again just an inverse fair value gap, lows either at the end of the inverse fair value gap or at the next low, and that is dependent on how price action is that day, or at least how I interpret it to be. So let's say price inverse this on the 5 minute, and then I found an entry somewhere here, boom, uh, boom, that's first TP, and usually I have break even at my first TP instead of like a 1-to-1 or like have something set like that. But yeah, if you look at my past executions, at least when I use this strategy, it's literally the same exact thing every time. I have a high time frame bias. I wait for confirmation on a slightly lower time frame, like the 15 minute, 30 minute, 5 minute, and then I enter on the 1 minute. Very simple, very easy, at least for me. But the hard part is to be able to see that and execute that on every day, which is the harder part. But yeah, um, that's my strategy. If you have like questions, you can just ask them, I guess. But yeah, and just for context, I went through a variety of strategies. So I traded supply demand, trendline breakouts, TGR strategy, another strategy that I made up, and this is the one that I've landed on, and this is the one that technically has gotten me funded, but no payouts, and hopefully funded tomorrow. So yeah,